You ever notice how much of your life is spent trying to escape uncertainty? That restless itch in your chest when you don't know what's going to happen next. That feeling that something's missing, or that you're supposed to have it all figured out by now. And every time you don't, you feel like you're falling behind. But what if that tension you feel, the weight of the unknown, isn't a curse? What if it's actually the very thing that's keeping you alive, awake, and capable of growth? See, we're taught to believe that uncertainty is the enemy. That if we don't have a plan, if we don't have clarity, if we don't know exactly where we're headed, then something must be wrong with us. But here's the truth no one tells you. Life itself is uncertainty. Every breath you take is a gamble. Every step you make rests on ground you cannot fully predict. And every moment of knowing you think you have is nothing but an illusion you've convinced yourself to hold on to. The Stoics understood this better than most. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "All is ephemeral, fame and the famous as well." Meaning, the very things we cling to for security, status, identity, even the roles we play in the lives of others, are shifting sands. They were never fixed to begin with. Think about that. The job you're clinging to, the relationship you're terrified of losing, the version of yourself you're trying so hard to preserve, it's all temporary. And yet most of us live as if losing any of these things would mean the end of us. But here's the paradox. The more you cling, the more fragile you become. The more you fight the unknown, the more the unknown suffocates you. Now here's the shift. The radical shift the Stoics, and really all great philosophers, tried to hammer into us. What if uncertainty isn't something to fight at all? What if it's something to lean into, something to welcome? Because it's in uncertainty that all possibility exists. Let me give you a picture. Imagine you're staring at a blank canvas. For most people, that emptiness feels terrifying, like pressure. What am I supposed to put here? What if it turns out badly? What if I ruin it? But look again, that blank canvas is also freedom. Nothing has been decided yet. Infinite possibilities are waiting, but only if you have the courage to make a mark. Life works the same way. The unknown is the blank canvas. The part of you that's afraid of it, that's the voice that wants control, security, predictability. The part of you that's drawn to it, that's the voice of creation, of possibility, of life itself. But most of us never get there because we confuse control with safety. We think if we can just predict enough, plan enough, lock enough things into place, then maybe we'll finally feel okay. But has that ever worked? Really think about it. Has life ever gone exactly according to plan? Even once? No matter how much we try, life always sneaks in through the cracks. Plans collapse. Expectations shatter. People leave. Opportunities appear from nowhere. And yet, we keep repeating the same cycle as if this time will be different. It's like standing in the ocean and trying to hold back the waves with your bare hands. You can exhaust yourself, panic, scream at the water for being too strong, or you can learn to float. You can learn to ride the rhythm instead of fighting it. This is what embracing the unknown looks like. Not passive surrender, not giving up, but a kind of graceful cooperation with the nature of reality itself. A trust that even when you don't know the path knows you. Now let me be clear, this isn't easy. It's not some romanticized, just go with the flow slogan you slap on a coffee mug. It's painful, because to live this way, you have to let parts of you die. You have to let go of your obsession with control. You have to burn away the false identities that made you feel safe. You have to face the fact that you are not in charge of this universe. You're a participant in it. But here's the reward. When you stop demanding certainty, when you stop insisting that life meet you on your terms, something incredible happens. You get your freedom back. You're no longer shackled by the need to know. You're no longer paralyzed by the fear of what might happen. You're no longer wasting energy forcing life to fit your limited imagination. Instead, you become available to what actually is, to what's unfolding right now, to the signals, the opportunities, the whispers of intuition you couldn't hear before because you were too busy rehearsing every possible outcome. Let me ask you something. How much of your life has been wasted rehearsing? Rehearsing arguments you never had. rehearsing failures that never came true, rehearsing tragedies that existed only in your mind. And for what? To give yourself the illusion of control? The Stoics had a name for this obsession: premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would visualize the worst-case scenario, not to suffer twice, but to break free from the grip of fear, to realize that even if the worst did happen, they would still remain. They would still have their character, their mind, their inner strength. Think about it. Every time life has broken something in you, haven't you also discovered something you didn't know you had? A resilience you never expected? A courage that appeared only when you needed it most? That's the paradox of uncertainty. What you fear will destroy you often becomes the very thing that saves you. So let's sit with this for a moment. The unknown isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. It's not emptiness, it's possibility. And if you're willing to walk into it, not with fear, but with curiosity, you will discover truths about yourself and about life that certainty could never give you. But here's the catch. Curiosity requires humility. It requires admitting you don't know and being okay with that. And that's hard because our egos are addicted to knowing. We'd rather cling to a wrong answer than admit we don't have one at all. And yet, the most profound growth happens the moment you say, I don't know. Because in that space, you become open. Open to learning, open to being changed, open to something larger than yourself. So maybe the real existential crisis isn't uncertainty at all. Maybe the crisis is our refusal to face it. Maybe the real suffering comes not from the unknown, but from our desperate attempts to make the unknown behave like something it isn't. Let that sink in. You are not suffering from uncertainty. You are suffering from your war against it. But here's the trap. Most people hear existential crisis and think it's something you can avoid, like a bad dream you can just wake up from. But the Stoics, and even the existentialists centuries later, would laugh at that. They'd say, the crisis isn't the problem. The crisis is the invitation. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of death, not because he was morbid, but because staring at death makes you stare at life. And when you stare at life, you see clearly half the things you're chasing mean absolutely nothing. The car, the likes, the job title, even the arguments you replay in your head at night. Strip them all away and ask, would any of this matter if tomorrow was my last day? Most people never ask that question because they are terrified of the answer. But Stoicism gives you a way out. Detach from what doesn't matter so you can finally attach yourself to what does. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The longer you ignore the crisis, the louder it gets. That's why you feel restless at night. That's why no achievement satisfies you for long. The problem isn't outside, it's the silence inside, waiting for you to define it. If this message stirred something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Someone else might be walking the same silent path, waiting for a sign that they're not alone. Stay grounded. Stay thoughtful. Stay awake. For more deep dives into philosophy, the human experience, and timeless truths, subscribe and turn on the bell. Wander the void with wonder. Question deeply. Think freely. Until next time, embrace the silence and let it speak.